Good morning, up here again, and I'm going to try to go a little bit more in depth in terms of what we spoke about on our panel. Tom, thank you. You got my tweet. I told Tom he had to be in the audience and couldn't be out there gallivanting. So I'm going to talk about this concept, which we've already touched upon a little bit, anytime, anywhere learning. And I'm going to add sort of my perspective on why it really is the most powerful type of learning that we can have, and that's the learning from us, the practitioners, those that are doing the work, that have the relevant experiences to help do what we do better. But I think we first need to talk about problems inherent in traditional professional development or in learning in general. And there are many problems. We've all been a part, like it or not, of bad professional development. It could have been 10 years ago, it could have been 5 years ago, it could have been yesterday, but we've all been a part of it. Many times, professional development is like herding cattle. We're taking everybody in our school, our institution, or our conference in the same direction, where they're going to learn the same thing. It's got a little organization, but it's not very exciting. Or it could be like herding cats. We don't know which way it's going. You know, and the cats, they could be sleeping, they could be eating. They don't really care about what we're doing. We don't even know what we're doing. And that's been a fact of professional development in the past in some institutions. This is a good one. There's no choice. I remember in the beginning of my teaching career, I was a part of professional development, and they basically like, period 1, you're going to learn this. Period 2, you're going to learn this. Period 3, and they thought they're giving us choice because they had 4 different options. But it really wasn't what we wanted to learn about. And this was back in the year 2000. So, I mean, the real-time web as we know it didn't even exist. So you automatically go in, and it's sort of like you're being forced to learn what other people are telling you is important. When we all know, yeah, it might be important, but maybe we learned this in graduate school. Maybe we learned it at a conference. What about the things that I find true value in that is going to have an impact on my students or, if I'm an administrator, on the whole school? How might certain things that I know might have the potential to positively enhance the teaching and learning process, but I'm not afforded the opportunity to learn about it? This has become a factor, whether we like it or not. Money. Money drives professional development in some districts, or it's the first thing to go. Professional development, that is, when we don't have the money. Many districts now, with all the budget crunches across the country, this is the first thing to go. We're getting rid of learning. We're not giving people the opportunity to get better because it costs too much. Time. On the panel earlier, I spoke about time. Time is one of the biggest excuses we have, just in general in education, for not getting better. I don't have the time to read a book. I don't have time to delve into the research. I don't have the time to blog. I don't have the time to go to the conference. And one of my biggest pet peeves is, oh, it's the summertime. I don't have time to learn. I'm going to be on vacation. I'm going to be doing this, that. When in essence, summer provides us with the most time to learn about what we want to learn about. But this is one of the biggest excuses in the profession of education that prohibits us from getting better. How many of us can relate to this? What does this tell me? It's boring, irrelevant, it's not applicable. That, to me, is a waste of my time. It's a waste of money. All right? Why do some institutions still rely on professional development, the one-size-fits-all approach that puts us to sleep? That's not good. Professional development also usually just focuses on the past. When we thought about learning, we're learning about things that we already know about. Where is the connection to what is happening now, what is relevant, what is meaningful, and how might things be different in the future? A lot of traditional learning opportunities or structures don't look at all three of these. They just focus on one. And finally, I think a lot of times, traditional structures of learning lack passion. If we're not passionate about what we do, or the learning experience that we're forced to sit through, is it going to have an impact on our practice? Probably not. You know, I think passion has to come from not just the teachers or the educators that are present. It's got to also come from the administrators. It's got to be the collective group. We all see the value in this. And, you know, I love talking about this topic now because I've found my passion. I have found the ability to learn about what I want, when I want, at any time. This whole concept of a personal learning network sort of is shifting the focus on how professional development is structured, where now it's totally reliant upon you. We all have the capacity to form our own unique, specific, personal learning network that caters to our diverse interests. The way in which we do that, more often than not, is through social media. Social media is the catalyst, in my mind. It opens the door or the window to this world of opportunity that then extends itself where we might have been in a virtual space. We are now having conversations. We're listening. We're sharing. And what are we doing? We're getting better. We're building our collective knowledge because we are in the driver's seat. We determine what we think is important and what we want to learn about at times that are convenient for us. Like I said, anywhere, anytime. I'll be honest, when I go to the beach, I take my BlackBerry because when my wife's reading a book, I might want to read an article on Education Week. Okay? That's how I choose to use my time. If I want to learn on the beach, I can. If I want to learn on my pajamas, I can. I just gave a keynote in Nebraska, basically almost in my pajamas, on a t-shirt, and it doesn't matter now, anywhere, anytime. And that's the beauty of it. There's no clocking in, there's no clocking out. We make the time to learn. Sometimes might not be convenient for us. Another huge, important aspect of personal learning networks is that you can connect to the best minds in the field. You name it, some of the most influential educators and practitioners are engaged in online spaces. They will engage in a dialogue with you readily. There are so many of them out there. But in order to tap into that resource, you have to be engaged. You have to be in these spaces. You have to understand that what you give is what you'll get. We all talk about how we must differentiate learning for our students. And that is so important. But what about differentiating learning opportunities for all of us? It is a very difficult thing to accomplish in a traditional structure. But with your personal learning network, you can determine what you want to learn about. And the sky is the limit. For us at New Milford High School, a lot of the change and the transformation has been because of our ability now to tap into this human-powered resource, this niche of educators that are so passionate about helping students, making a difference. And when I got into this about 3 years ago, I'm hearing all these words. I had no idea what anybody was talking about. I was clueless. Web 2.0, what's that? Animoto, VoiceThread, PLN, and Twitter, dumbest thing, dumbest thing. But you know what? Once I lurked and learned, and I actually took the time to follow up on some of these things, it really was a catalyst for initiating sustainable change at our school. A personal learning network doesn't cost you any money. It is free. It is such a valuable, free resource. Why would you not want to take advantage? Because again, no one can tell you, say, you know what, I got to go to this session, maybe I'm not interested. You don't have that anymore. You can learn what you want, when you want, and it won't cost you anything but a little bit of time. And if we are in the business or in a position to encourage lifelong learning amongst our students, we should be modeling it. And we can model it very efficiently and effectively through our own personal learning networks. So what does a PLN do? It does so many different things. You can acquire resources, strategies, ideas. You can get support, feedback. One of the best things now for me is because of being connected, I get feedback from some of the best minds. People that have been doing my job a lot longer than I have because I don't have all the answers. But again, it's like, what do you want to get out of your personal learning network? You make that decision, no one else. I love this infographic, which was created by a colleague of mine, Al Kuros in Canada. It really puts in perspective how information flow becomes two-way. But again, look at it. You are at the center. You are at the center. You are in control. When you design your personal learning network, what do you want it to be? All right? It could be a news feed. It could be a staff room, a portfolio, whatever you want. But the key is that there are so many different tools to not really get caught up in the tools. What do you want the tools to accomplish for you? You make that decision. The tools I use or what Tom uses might be different than what you might want to use, but that's fine. But they all have a specific purpose. I love showing this picture because I truly believe that by connecting with each other, it's sort of like Leadership 101. I remember when I was becoming an administrator, my father, who was a principal, always told me, you know what, son? Connect yourself with people that are smarter than you, ones that complement you. They're going to help you do your job better. And that's what a personal learning network does. It basically, for me, I'm here at the bottom. I use these tools, and I connect with smart people. And I'm looking out in this audience right now, and so many people I've connected with over the years, they're the smart people that make me better. They're the smart people that have helped us initiate a bring your own device policy or initiative at New Milford High School. They're the ones that gave me the encouragement and support to blog about what we do at New Milford High School. They're the smart people. To me, I'm nobody. I'm a principal at a high school, but because of my personal learning network, I sort of gained the courage to step outside my shell and really be a modeler of lifelong learning. And Justin Tarte in the Midwest, I love this. Sure, you don't have to have a PLN to be a great educator, but why would you close the door on the chance to be even better? And that's what this is about. This is about us being better, getting the support when we might not have it, doing things we might not have ultimately done, because we have a whole network of people all over the country that are willing to help us, to give us those ideas, to give us that push. Because you know what? We might not have that in our respective school systems. I'm fortunate I do, but you know what? There were times where I did not have it. I did not have the feedback, the support, and the great ideas. Listen, you'd be hard-pressed to find a new idea in education. It's been done somewhere. But we got to treat it like American Idol, where those contestants have to sing a well-known song, and they have to make it their own. They got to make it unique in order to benefit the teaching and learning culture. And that's what we can do with ideas that we share. Because people want you to have good ideas, to take their good ideas and make them work for your specific students and teachers. I thank you very much for your time.